Hey everyone, so when I started seeing all of the riots that were happening because of the uh, basically cold-blooded killing of George Floyd, now, granted, did he deserve it? He might have done things that have warranted death, but the police at the time didn't seem to have proof of that, and they were not supposed to be killing him. It was not their job to be killing him at that point. So they strangled the man to death in front of onlookers. Now, it could have been that the guy was just totally had his head up his arse and didn't really know what he was doing, but or he could have been totally reckless. He could have been improperly trained. That's probably the most likely, I think. But people have been protesting this a ton, and it got violent. They raided local businesses. I don't see what they had to do with it, really. I mean, the guy was ripping off a business. It was the charge against him. I believe it was fraud. It was forgery, I think, forging a check or something like that. And that's why the police were there. And obviously that particular crime did not warrant being killed in any way. But what's crazy about this is people are destroying the wrong stuff, you know? And some people were going and saying that it makes the government afraid of the people when the people throw riots in. People actually kind of attacked sort of the right area. I mean, I don't think it was justified, but they attacked the police precinct, and they kept bothering the police there, and eventually they were causing so much problems that the mayor just ordered all the police and employees to evacuate the building. So then the police just hung out there for a while. And people have been saying, well, that's good, it makes the government afraid of the people. And I think, well, I don't think it really does. I mean, the police could easily kill all these people. I think of, like, for example, the Darth Vader fight in Empire Strikes Back. I mean, when Luke tries to fight Darth Vader, I mean, he's not winning in any way. Like, Darth Vader could kill him a dozen times in that fight, but he refuses. He keeps keeping Luke alive because he knows that the Emperor's going to want him. And that's why he cuts off his hand and doesn't stab him. You know, he tries to get Luke to join him. He tries to freeze him in carbonite. He tries to get him to surrender by making him tired with really powerful strikes that he knows he can't block. And eventually he has to remove his hand because it's the only way to subdue him. Then Luke essentially jumps to what he thinks is his death, but due to some air current or something, he lands safely somehow. But we're in the same situation right now with the government. You know, we can pester them, we can strike at them, but I mean, our life is basically at their mercy right now. Those rioters, the only reason they weren't dead is because the police were told not to kill all of them. Granted, that didn't stop them with George Floyd, but the reason they're alive is because the police were instructed to not kill them. And they're in a tough situation, the police, because they're told to keep them from breaking anything without hurting them. And that's actually very difficult. So when the police look like they're struggling, it's not because they're struggling to fight you. No, they could easily kill everyone in the country, almost everyone in the country. But what's the problem here is that they aren't allowed to just kill people. So that's kind of a good thing, I would say. The rule of law being able to stop the police from just killing rioters. So that's kind of good that they have less power. But I mean, people are taking out their anger in the wrong areas, I think, is the biggest problem. And really, you're not furthering any greater cause by rioting. And even if the police were responsible for this, destroying a police building, setting it on fire, isn't a workable solution. And it doesn't really make the government any less afraid of us. If anything, it strengthens the government by justifying higher budgets and stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, the government doesn't fear us. I mean, I think that's a problem. That's what the founders of the country wanted, is for the government to be afraid of the people, because when the people can throw a successful revolt, then the government has to keep itself in line. Otherwise, they know they're going to lose all their power. So, yeah, we're not making the government any more afraid of us by setting fire to a police building. I mean, we're making their jobs more difficult, certainly, probably destroying a lot of their stuff, but police don't pay for it. You know, their salaries are guaranteed by taxpayers, so we're increasing the amount of money that the government is going to take from us, and we're endangering our own lives, getting ourselves injured, likely not killed because police are told not to do that. So yeah, I mean, we're not winning this. We're not getting any kind of gain out of this. We're just breaking stuff, and I guess some people enjoy breaking stuff, but there's no higher purpose here. You know, we're not safeguarding a liberty by setting fire to a police station. Now, I think accountability is very important, and I think we can do that without violence. If we couldn't do it without violence, then I would say it was about time to overthrow the government, you know. But, you know, it looks like we're capable of doing that at the moment, getting accountability for murderers within the police department. Now, it's kind of a murder, kind of not, because he he might have deserved it, but we don't really know that. The offense he did wouldn't be deserving of murder under our legal system. Certain legal systems would do execution, but it was a type of stealing, that would be like imprisoned or cut off a hand or something like that, and most of the time. So, most of the time wouldn't be execution. He might have done other things that made it less bad, but the police didn't know about those, so it's not like the police were any more justified in this. So, we're not really strengthening ourselves against the government. We're giving the government more power, more justification for building up the tools to take out any domestic resistance. So, if you want to get stronger, make yourself stronger. Train yourself in combat. Train yourself in the use of weapons. But don't just destroy police stuff. I think almost everyone at that precinct was not acting in good faith. They were acting in furtherance of the pleasure they get out of hurting people and out of destroying stuff. And destroying property is a type of violence. So, yeah, people need to consider that we're not making ourselves stronger. We're making government stronger. And they only get stronger every time the government is called to do something. It gets a little bit stronger because it justifies higher budgets. It's just making itself more powerful, and we're helping it do that by giving it a cost to do stuff. We need to try to get the government out of everything if we want to ensure that our liberty will be preserved. Don't set fire to stuff, please. Ugh. So, thank you all so much for watching. You have a good day.